South Africa's wine is world famous. Most of the vineyards are within the Cape Flora region. It's a hotspot for biodiversity with over 6,000 endemic species of plants. UNESCO has declared it a World Heritage Site, but farming, urban sprawl and foreign species are all threatening the Cape's flora. As a result, more than 300 species are on the brink of extinction, according to experts. Can organic wine production be the solution? We went to look for eco-friendly wine on the Cape.
The architecture at Waterkloof is spectacular and modern. The cultivation methods are more traditional.
We are a biodynamic farm and we see the whole farm as a living entity, which means not just the vineyards but the fynbos also. And you want that natural flow of positive energy right through the farm, and having your natural vegetation and your natural fauna and flora and their energy enhanced in your vineyards, in your wines, in the whole process is very special, and it makes this farm one living entity.
Waterkloof is a wine estate on the Cape renowned for its commitment to sustainable farming and winemaking. Farm manager Christian Lutz also uses manure to enrich the soil with microorganisms and to keep pests in check. Chemicals are not part of his repertoire.
This farm hasn't used any pesticides or herbicides since 2008. Everything that we use comes from the farm. We use the type of fungicides we used is predator fungi, things you find in your compost heap.
Christian Lutz has a visitor, Joan Isham from the World Wildlife Fund. In 2008, it declared Waterkloof a conservation champion. The distinction is only awarded to vineyards that fulfill rigorous environmental criteria.
All our conservation champions, there's about 37 of them, they all get a formal review every year. And that's when I come out to the farms and just want to actually monitor how are they doing with the environmental management. That would include their alien clearing, their fire management. We're also looking at waste management, problem animal control, anything to do with environmental risks on the farm.
Waterkloof is one of 600 vineyards in the Cape winelands. Here the grapes are all picked and processed by hand. The estate makes up to 240,000 litres of wine a year, for the domestic market and for export. Christian Lutz takes Joan Isham on a tour of inspection. More than half the 146-hectare estate has been set aside as a conservation area. Instead of vines, endemic bushes and shrubs flourish there. The fynbos is the natural heathland of the Western Cape. It forms part of the Cape Floral Kingdom, a region with an incredible number of plant species. What's more, 2/3 of the 9,000 species are only found on the Cape. But that's not all.
It might happen that one species only occur on one specific farm, nowhere else even in the Western Cape. So if it's lost there and we don't motivate them to look after that species, it will be lost for the world.
The greatest threats to the Cape Floral Kingdom are invasive alien plant species, urbanization and farming. Isham says it's very important to get more wine growers on board to become conservation champions. Conservation brings them a range of advantages.
We do fynbos walks and we do wine tasting on horseback through the fynbos. Then there are the biological aspect of it. Natural predators breed in the fynbos and are available to the vines in spring, so they actually migrate from the fynbos into the vineyards to control our pests.
Isham concludes that environmental management at Waterkloof is good.
You don't see alien vegetation. The alien vegetation there in the distance, they will still deal with. That's a future plan. So we recognize their conservation efforts by allowing them to use the little sugarbird Protea logo on their wine bottle.
Lutz is passionate about biodynamic farming. He goes way beyond the WWF's criteria for being a conservation champion. Here, natural processes do the jobs many farmers assign to machines and chemicals. Sheep graze in the vineyards, reducing the level of weeds between the rows of vines.
A sustainable farm like this will be around in the next 100 years. The vines will grow up to 50 years old. my son and so on will still be able to farm this soil because the soil is alive, it's living.
Joan Isham hopes to sign up 10 more estates as conservation champions by the end of the year to help ensure a future for both wine growing and the fynbos.